Now I'm going to show you how to use our dry contact module. This is the image of our dry contact module, and this is a 4-channel one. We have 4-channel, 8-channel, and 24-channel ones. You can connect this with our cells. And the dry contact module is the simplest device to connect to a third-party device. Like the third-party device like door magnetism, window magnetism, gas coil sensor, smoke sensor, water leakage sensor, and so on. So you can buy these kinds of sensor from third party as long as it has a passive switch signal or a relay signal. Then you can buy it and they will be able to work with our dry contact module. Now for example, if you have a door magnetism and it is a dry contact one, you want to realize a function like when the door is open, then turn on a light. When the door is closed, then turn off a light. Then you just need to make the wiring like this. Connect the first half of the door magnetism to the COM port of the dry contact module, and then the second half of the door magnetism to the first channel port. And then when the door is open or closed, these two ports will be connect or disconnect, and then you can set targets. So that's the application of our dry contact module. Now let's see how to do the configuration. For example, if the first channel of the door magnetism If the first channel of the dry contact module is connected to the door magnetism, then we can make a remark in here and then have to select mechanical switch. Mechanical switch is the switch which have two status, just like the door magnetism. Because when it's closed or open, it will have two status. So you can see when I select mechanical switch, I can set targets when the mechanical switch is on or off. So that's the use of our dry contact mode, the mechanical switch mode. If you select a single on and off, it will not have an area for you to select when on trigger what kind of targets and when off trigger what kind of targets. So for the door magnetism, we have to select the mechanical switch. And then for example, when the door magnetism is closed, we want to trigger a spotlight one on. And when the is open, we want to trigger spotlight off. And then click Save. So that's the use of our dry contact module. And in here, in the attributes, we can select the function of the dry contact module. Like you can select it to be, if it's connected to an emergency panel, then you can select emergency help. If it's gas sensor, then just select the gas sensor. And because this is door, so we have to select the gate and the window magnetism. And you have PIR sensor. Please ignore the silent sensor and Zoom out SIM button. This is only used in China, so ignore this. Okay, and then click Save. It's easy, right? Just needs to make the wiring, and the wiring is very simple. Just connect one to the COM port and another to the channel. Let me explain the dry contact mode. I think for single on and the combination on and off, you are very familiar with this. For single, then can support 1 target. For combination, it can support 99 targets. Then it's very easy for you to understand. Then you may ask me, what is a parallel switch? Okay, let me use an example to explain what is a parallel switch and what is this function for. For example, in your staircase, you don't buy HDL like the digital panel, DLP panel, granny display, and the enviro panel, source panel, and so on. You don't buy a panel like that, but you are using this kind of traditional panel. You have to push it to turn on and turn off something. So we call it a traditional mechanical panel. As you know, if you don't use our HDL's smart panel, you just use these kinds of panel. If when you turn on the light through the first panel, and later when people in downstairs wants to turn on the light, then he needs to press it for the first time to turn off the panel, to turn off the light, and press the second time to turn on the light. So it needs to press twice. In order to avoid these kinds of situation, we introduce this parallel switch. Then you just need to connect the two panel to two channel of the dry contact module. For example, panel 1 connect to the second channel, panel 2 connect to the third channel, and then their target is control the light. Okay, let's do the configuration. Okay, the same stair light. Let me make a remark. Stair light 2, and then select the parallel switch. Okay, and then add the same targets for the two channel, and then it can realize these kinds of function. Okay, spotlight 1 on. And then click Save. So after you set like this, then people can control the staircase light and no need to turn on and turn off. So no need to press twice, just because it will have feedback. Then make it easy. But I want to emphasize, if you don't use these kinds of traditional panel by using our HDL smart panel like our DLP panel, granny display, and so on, then no need to buy a dry contact module because our smart panel will have status feedback. So that's why no need to use a dry contact module. This is only applied to when you use this traditional panel, but you want to use this two panel to control the same light. Okay, that's what I want to emphasize. Please pay attention to this. And we still left a multi-function. Multi-function, you can see when I select it to be a multi-function, it tells me supports 99 targets. You may ask me, what's the difference between combination mode and the multi-function? Let me show you. Let me add more targets and explain. A moment, I will finish. So you can see here we'll have 3 targets. It's more than 1 target. When I select multifunction, what will happen? Let me click Save. When I long press the, for example, if this channel is connected to a dry contact switch, then when I long press it, it will be a combination off, so it will turn off all of these 3 targets or more targets. And if enable the dimming function of this dry contact channel, then can dimming the first target's brightness. You can see if I go to the attribute and enable the dimming function in here, like I like to be dim up and dim down, and then click Save. So when I long press this button, if this channel is connected to a switch and I select multifunction, when I long press it, it will be combination off, or just can dim. If this is connected to a dimmer, and then it's a dimming channel, and I go to attribute to enable the dimming function, then it will not be combination off, but to dim up and dim down the first targets, this dimming channel's brightness. And if I just short press, then it will be single on and off, meaning it cannot control the 2 targets or more targets if you set. It can only turn on and turn off the first targets. And if it's double click, then it will be combination on, meaning it will turn on all these targets you add. So that's the dry contact mode.